And we're live. Welcome to the Rican show. And today I'm pleased to have Mario Presents with me. And I'll let Mario introduce himself for people who don't know who he is.
Hi guys, my name is Mario Presents. I am an activated American, is what I say. I'm not just a content creator. I don't just pass laws. I do both of those things, but I'm an activated person here living in our country who's just trying to do one more thing and show the world that just one more thing and one more thing builds to something great. I am a chapter lead of Gays Against Groomers who is trying to awaken parents all across the country about the indoctrination that's happening in our schools. And in my local community, I have passed laws to protect my community from unnecessary medical treatments.
Oh, that's great. I love what you do because I've been watching you for a while, and I love that this whole gays against groomers. I love it as a parent because I've been to school board meetings, fighting against CRT, fighting against gender ideology myself. It's stuff that I've done, and it's like when it comes to CRT, I always use the fact that I'm Latino, and I go, you could call me whatever ism you want, but I'm not, and I know it because I got people in my family that are lighter than me and darker than me.
Right.
So call me what
Most
you
of us
want.
do. Most of us
Mhm.
do. And that's exactly what Gays Against Groomers is trying to do. We are trying to give parents the courage to speak up because they're afraid of being called homophobic. They're afraid of being called transphobic. They're afraid of being called anti-LGBTQ. I was at a board meeting yesterday where several parents messaged me personally to be like, please, 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 can you come? Please, can you come? And I was on the fence. It was an hour and a half drive to get there, and that distance isn't a huge thing, but it's like I don't have kids in the district, but I was invited by the parents, so that gives me a right to speak because the parents are saying I don't have the voice. Please be my voice. So that gave me the courage, and I had to work it into my work schedule. So I went out. I contacted the other Gays Against Groomer, Frank, the chapter lead of California. He came out, and we crushed it. We spoke to the school board. We said, "Hey, you need to stop this. You need to stop that." We're speaking for the parents. It's not homophobic to say these things out loud because these parents are just trying to protect their children. And the last thing we need is for you to get in between a parent and a child. And that's not okay. Under our name, under our umbrella, and say, oh, we're gonna do gender affirming care, blah, blah, blah. That's not having to do with anything right now. And
Mhm.
test scores show that the test scores are low right now.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 California students don't even meet the basic math requirements. So obviously there's something rotten in Rome, and we need to speak up. And that's what Gays Against Groomers is trying to do: is use our gayness, just like
Yeah.
you would use your Latino-ness to be like,
Mhm.
hey, and then also I've used my Latino-ness at school board meetings and at city council meetings because did you know that if you speak in Spanish, you are they are required to give you the equal amount of time to provide a translation?
No, I did not know that.
Oh, it's great. It's great. You go up there, you talk about the topic in Spanish. They give you this like look like
Huh?
because they don't know what you're saying. You're literally
Yeah.
at them, and they're like, and they just have to let the time go, and then they go, okay, well now we're going to give you an equal amount of time to provide the translation. So as long as you do it in Spanish first or whatever language you know, I mean, you could do it in Swahili, you could do it in Tagalog, whatever. Give that first, and then force them to do that. I've used that successfully in my city to stop them from doing something or push them into doing what I want them to do because look, I've wasted double their time.
No, that's yeah, because they don't want to be there. They don't want to be there that long because I've been to the school board meetings and they're like 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and it's like, and I know in some places it's in bigger school districts it's only like a minute or two. And
Right. It's actually 3 minutes, and then what'll happen is if they have if they have too many speakers, they cut it down to two. And I think they can cut it down to one. I've never heard them cut down to one, but no less than one.
yeah, I remember one meeting, uh, I couldn't finish, and they wouldn't. Someone, another parent was like, they could have my time, and the school board wouldn't allow it. They're like, no,
Yeah, that's weird.
no,
That's on a case by case basis. I know school boards are doing all kinds of things to basically push parents away.
yeah.
Received reports from parents through Gays Against Groomers who have been bullied by the schools. false allegations saying, oh, so and so parent came to the school night and was really aggressive and verbally abused my teacher, blah, 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 blah. And now the parent is under investigation by their employer for behavior at school. That never happened. I have a father who was accused of vandalism and completely cleared of charges, but it only had the accusations and the vandalism only happened days after he spoke up at the school board meeting. So I have a father who spoke up about improper curriculum that his 14-year-old daughter said. She's like, Dad, I don't want to do this assignment. This is asking me questions that are way too personal about how I identify as like lesbian, gay, bi, trans. I don't want to answer these questions to the school. And when the father went to the school and says, hey, this is a problem, why did you send this to my daughter and have her do this if she doesn't want to do that? And they said, well, you weren't supposed to see that.
That's
And he was like, excuse me, this is my
what I
daughter.
always say.
My daughter actually talks to me. Thank God she does, because otherwise I would have never known. This is, if that's your response, I'm going to pull my kid from school. This will be the last day you see my kid. And you know what the school responded? Well, there's truancy law, sir.
That's I
So
know it's like when my 5-year-old just started kindergarten, so I was happy that her teacher looked normal, that pink green hair,
right.
piercings, tattoos. She's been a teacher for 20 years,
Oh,
so I
thank God.
know that means that she's not a new teacher. I would be worried if maybe she was like a 5-year teacher, then I'd be like, let's see, I'm gonna make sure I don't see no pronoun nonsense, and
Right.
because she's 5.
Well, and the
You
best thing you can do as a parent is to communicate with your child.
Oh yeah,
Your child is developing these communication skills, so you need to communicate with them at their level, but also be willing to pull your own emotions out, especially as they get older, because that's when these difficult conversations happen. The teens, when they're not feeling comfortable, da, 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 and they want to hide things from their parents. I know I hid things from my parents too, but also my parents weren't very open to having very honest, open conversations. They were very emotional. So I tell people, if you can remove yourself, the emotions from the conversation, and try to put yourself in that uncomfortable position, because they're uncomfortable too. You're both
yeah,
going to be uncomfortable, and you might not want to hear what they have to say. But if you hear what they have to say, and you, hold on a second, my husband just came home and the dogs are all barking.
no
Um,
problem.
if you have these conversations with your child at an age appropriate level, you won't have anything to worry about. Scott Nugent talks about this all the time. He says, it's our job as adults or as parents to teach children to see around corners. We want to give them the tools so that they don't make the same mistakes we do, so that they can make their own mistakes, and so that they can be better than us. That's ultimately the
Yeah,
goal overall. It's not to say, hey kid, if you're a girl and you like climbing trees, you might be a boy. Like
yeah.
that's just intentionally
Because
wrong.
so that I was having a conversation with my niece, because she's a teenager. So when I was talking to her about the trans issue, and at first she was like, "Oh, I don't understand, Theo, why you get so mad about it." And I was trying to explain it to her, talking with her and whatnot. But then what happened was the whole thing that happened with the swimmer, the
The Leah Thomas.
yeah, Thomas. There you go. My niece happens to be a swimmer, so when that whole Leah Thomas stuff happened and it hit her personally, she was like, "Now I understand." And it's like I told her, I don't have any problems with trans people.
Not at
If
all.
you're an adult, you can make your own choice. Do you? You know, but when it comes to certain things, a man has an advantage, a biological advantage over a woman in
There's a
physical.
volleyball player just the other day who spiked the ball and
I
broke a
saw
girl's
that.
face.
Yes, I saw that. I was like, that was, and it was just high school. It
Right.
was,
And this is what Title IX is doing. Title IX is actually destroying girls' sports. It's really, really tragic. In addition to destroying a whole bunch of other things. But that's what Gays Against Groomers is trying to highlight, bring awareness to, so that we can solve this issue. Because what happened in Loudoun County, Virginia, happened because of Title IX. Oh, this person identifies as this gender. We can use the bathroom. Oh, they raped a girl. We're just going to move the student. We're not going to punish them because under social emotional development, we can't punish these children for the things that they don't really quite understand just quite yet. So we're just going to
Mhm.
move him. And they moved them, and the kid went and violated another person. It's insane, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden the parents are the bad guys because the parents are over here going, "Hi, my child was raped."
Yeah. Didn't he get arrested or he got
Yes,
detained?
yes, he was detained when he was trying to speak to the school board about the incident.
No, that I remember seeing that, and I was just there like, oh my god, if I was that father,
But
uh,
unfortunately, that's why gays against groomers has to exist. We don't want to have to exist. Our goal is to not ever have to exist again.
yeah,
But for now, we have to exist and we have to speak up because I was talking at my local shop. I went in to buy my medicine, and I had a conversation with the girl behind the counter, and she's like, "Oh, blah 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 blah. What's new?" I said, "Oh, I was at school board." She was, "Oh, what's going on at school board?" I gave her a hint, a drop of what happened, and she was like, "This is not okay. This is not okay." And just then, a black guy comes in, and he overhears what I said, and he goes, "You know what? He's right. That's why I'm leaving." He's like, "I'm out of here. I'm leaving California because this stuff is wrong. If I speak up against it, I get called all kinds of names." And I went, "That's why I exist. That's exactly why this organization exists. Here, follow us."
yeah. No, and that's what I love about it because, like I said, that I used my Latino heritage to do the same thing because like I used to talk about that with when I lived in Texas and I used to go to church and I had my some of my because I don't consider myself conservative. I
Right.
consider myself more libertarian just
Okay.
because there's certain things I agree with, certain things I don't. So I like to be a free agent. I like to be all over the place. But so I used to tell them, they used to tell me stuff, and they'd be like, "But I can't say that because I'm white," and I would be like, "Well, I'll be your voice then,"
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, if you can't say it because you're afraid of being called, you know, uh, called racist or homophobic. Like for me, I go, there was a conversation I had put the flyer for the show,
Mm-hmm.
and someone had said something like, "Oh, you're a disgrace" or whatnot, and I was like, "Look, listen, I've been to gay bars, I've been to drag shows, I've been to trans shows. My best friend, I'm 43. My best friend of 30 years is a lesbian. Okay, so that's where I've been to these places. I know how it is. So you can't tell me that, uh, like for example, I'll say the most awkward experience I ever had was not going to a gay bar, but was going to a lesbian bar.
Yeah, where nobody likes you.
Yeah, no one because they kept looking at me like, "What the
Like,
hell are you
what's the man
doing?"
doing here? Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and it was like,
And,
it
and
was
that's
just,
where, and it's funny because as Mario presents, I created a hashtag and it's kind of funny. It's tongue in cheek. It's hashtag gays for everyone. And
uh,
that's exactly why I say that is because everyone needs a gay. Whether it be your wingman, is your lesbian best friend, or is your gay best friend. Okay. Whether it's the caretaker as you get older, because I'm going to be honest with you, as you get older, it's going to fall to your gay brother and sister or your gay cousin to take care of your aging grandma because you have a family, you got kids, you don't got time for grandma. But the gay one, oh, he don't got kids, he just got a dog. She don't got kids, she got a dog. And that's who grandma ends up with. Okay. So
yeah,
and with my activism, I've been speaking up and I've been saying everyone deserves to have a gay,
yeah.
to be your friend, to be that person, to be that support, because ultimately we're not here for ourselves. Oh, that's what I feel.
No, my wife just had surgery, and my best friend, she works from home. So she came here for 2 weeks to help me with the kids and help me with my wife because she doesn't, other than her girlfriend, which her girlfriend works crazy hours as it is anyway. So she
Right.
was able to come here, help me out, and it's great because she's great with my daughter likes to paint. She's more
Oh,
artistic.
that's cute.
I'm not. I'm a jock.
Mm.
So for me, it's hard to do that stuff for her just because it's not my wheelhouse.
Right.
Like if she wants to be a tomboy and she wants to go play sports. I'm good. It's
Right.
painting stick figure. That's about the
Yeah.
extent of
Mhm.
my artistic prowess.
Yeah,
But my best friend, she bought like a easel for her with canvases and was like, here's the paint, do it.
right, right.
Hmm.
I mean, and if you were at the bars, you're out there hanging, you're out there at the bar, and I've had it happen. Me and my husband are out with our straight friends, and usually something, not say usually, but most of them are coupled. Every so often we get a friend who's single, and we'll be at the bar hanging out, and girl comes over, hey, talks to us, da 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 da, and we just look at each other and we're like, here, meet our friend, meet our friend. That's the one you want. That's the one you want. We're your wingman. We are this part of society that has a very special place, and so that's where that comes from. But it's also tongue in cheek because it was a little bit of a play on that Oprah where you get a car, you get a car, you get a
Oh
car,
yeah.
everybody gets a car. Everybody gays for everyone.
Yeah, no, it's that's great. No, because it's true. I mean, like you said, usually for the most part, unless you know, they usually, gay people don't usually have kids, except for I would say more well off to do gay people.
Yeah, because you have to buy it. It's very, either buy it or have artificial insemination, and buying is adoption or fostering
Yeah.
or, all of the
Well,
above.
like what Dave Rubin did.
Yeah, well, exactly. And that's expensive too. You're literally buying a child. And
Yeah.
I've just never been a fan of it. My own grandmother was raised by her aunt because by the time my great grandmother gave birth to my grandmother, she was done. She was like, I don't want to deal with this extra baby. And so she was like, sis, you've been saying you want a kid. Here, take it. And so she was raised by her aunt and her mama Nina, they called her. So
Mhm.
I feel if God ordains it, God will ordain it. If He doesn't, He doesn't. But as long as you live a noble life,
Mhm.
worthwhile, then He's just going to bless your path, and that's all I've been seeing is blessings in front of me.
No, that's it. You know, God is just I've had it's funny. I had an atheist on my show before,
Oh, uh-huh.
and I didn't know he was an atheist till we had started having the conversation about God.
Oh,
And it was like he's dropped that being an atheist on me, and I was like, I didn't know what to say because I'm
oh.
just there like, oh, you're an atheist, and I'm like,
I have friends who are
well,
atheists. Yeah,
huh?
there. I have friends who are atheists. It's not a too difficult conversation. It's just we have to take ourselves out of it. This is what I've been.
Yes.
This is part of the parents talking to kids. We have to take ourselves out of it. When you're talking to an atheist, they obviously believe that the psyche is really the only presence that exists, is the now, the here, and the hardest
Oh,
part is for them to I mean, I'm not speaking for all atheists, but for for me to see them, the hardest part is to see what's going to go on in the future, like, oh, just the world's going to end. It's just
and
eh.
someone asked the interesting question. I wanted you to
is
see it.
is the origin of the word gay rooted in politics? Actually, the origin of the word gay isn't actually an emotion meaning happy, so it's not rooted in politics.
I wonder if he was being tongue in cheek about that.
I don't know. Maybe. But and that's the thing is these are just words. The word gay is just a thing that describes part of me. It's not all of me. It's not everything that I do. It's funny. I go out into these rallies and I'm wearing stilettos or heels, and people ask me, "Do you wear them all the time?" No, no, they're uncomfortable. I wear flats most of the time. Flats when I'm out there, the appropriate shoe for the appropriate reason. And when I go out there, I'm a character. So just like if you were to dress up like Mickey Mouse and be like, oh, I'm Mickey Mouse every single time I go out there, they'd be like, oh, that's the rally Mickey or whatever. So the idea of putting on the presentation, that's just the little weapon that I have that I can use that you can't because that's not something you do. The
Like
origin of
throwing in the accent.
Exactly. Exactly. So the concept of gay is modern. Mm, I would disagree with that only because the concept of homosexuality, it's persisted throughout
No, I
history, throughout
understand,
millennia.
but I
Um,
think I think what he's trying to imply, because I know him.
yeah, let explain.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, I think I knew that's what he was going to go with, because what he's talking about is the whole concept of like the modern movement of the gay, because you know, yeah, where he goes there in the
And
40s.
he's right. And he's right. This one here, he's
Yeah.
absolutely right. Um, it is just human. And that's the thing is everybody needed a label. And I don't know where this came from. I don't know why this exists in our culture, but everyone needs a label. And I think it if you were to boil it all the way down to its bare base um, animalistic behavior, it's in out group mentality. Everybody wants to be part of the in group. Who's the cool kids? Everyone wants to be part of it, whether it's an you look at primates, they all want to be part of the tribe that's the most successful. They don't want to be part of the tribe that's outcast or different. So in out group mentality creates these groups that says I'm gay, I'm special, and then everybody wants to be special, everybody wants to be gay, everyone wants to be LGBTQ, and you just keep adding things, trying to add to this umbrella that look at us, we're special, we're part of the in group, look at us. And that's I've never been part of that. Ever since I was a child, I've never been a part of that.
I was a I was a click breaker. Like
Yeah,
I never had like I had my group of friends, but I was friendly with because
everybody.
I was friendly with the jocks, I was friendly with the geeks, I was friendly with the goth kids, the gay kids, all the kids. I always had friends in those groups, the potheads, you know. I always was able to just go in there, and people tend to say because I'm genuine, because I'm like I don't care. I'm like I'm gonna be me, and if you don't like me, I'll find someone else who will.
Exactly. And that I think has been the formula for that I followed just the same in doing what I do. I'm me. It's funny that my last name starts with an E. My real last name starts with an E. So I just say I am just me. There's no one else like me. But my mom always said there's always going to be someone bigger than you. There's always going to be smarter than you. There's always going to be someone faster than you. But you know what?
Mhm.
When you open your mouth and you say things that are important, people will always listen to you. So,
No,
yeah.
you guys, no. My friend was being funny. He goes, I label myself as rich, gorgeous. Those are my
Ooh,
pronouns.
see, my pronouns are Your Majesty and Your Highness.
And someone here else asked, what do you think of the TikTok person that Biden received in the White House?
Oh my gosh. So that creature in the White House, and if I say creature, I'm probably going to get in trouble, but
Well, you refer
that's
to the senile creature and the not the person he had from
well,
TikTok.
regardless of who the creatures in the White House.
uh,
Because technically we are animals and we all technically fall under the kingdom Animalia. We are creatures. Um,
yes.
the idea is that's influencing. They're trying to influencing. I think I don't think that old man is running anything. I really honestly in my heart don't think
I
that little
agree
old
with
man's
you.
running anything. They are literally propping him up like Weekend at Bernie's, and it's this woke, I guess you could say, I guess core group of people who
Mhm.
are influence led and part of this what I call corporate communism. I guess like we could talk about it. I've
I
had
like
this
that.
theory. I've had this theory called corporate communism where we only have really three, four, five big corporations. You got BlackRock Capital, you've got Berkshire Hathaway, and then those corporations own things like multimedia companies, and then they own things like pharmaceutical companies, and then they own things like food production companies, and then they own things like manufacturing, and then they own things like homes, and they own things like banks, and they own things like okay, so you're
And they
getting the
all own
picture. They're
each
basic
other.
and they all own each other. And then on top of it, not just the media, they also own the lobbyists and the government representatives who they
Mhm.
then prop up and pay for through lobbies and government. So it's all part of this network of people up at this very top of a corporation. And I support my theory by saying, look at Russia. When Russia declared war on Ukraine, it
Mhm.
wasn't America that turned around and said, hey, everybody, let's pull business from Russia. Those people, they're bullies, just like Hitler. We're going to stop doing business with them. We didn't do that. Not at all.
No.
In fact, it was the corporations that voluntarily said, "Hi, everybody, we're not going to have any of this." It's corporations that pulled Kanye West's money. It's corporations that pulled the J6ers' money because there's lots of bank accounts that have been closed simply because of the fact that they associate with organizations that these corporations do not agree with. Or you have a voice that is threatening to the standard narrative that the corporations and their assigns are trying to promote. Laura Loomer is a perfect example of that. Enrique Tarrio is a perfect example of that. Milo Yiannopoulos is a perfect example of that. They are not allowed to even make money. And that's not a federal issue. That's not a government saying that. That is a company.
They've been unpersoned.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're just a number. And how much can you make the corporations? How much does each person worth? How much money can they make in taxes as an employee, as a working employee? How much are they going to cost me in healthcare as they age? You and everybody else is literally just a piece in this machine.
And
And the
then
sooner we start pulling ourselves away and creating a separate machine, a separate economy, things are going to start turning
I'm gonna
around
add
because these
this on.
corporations.
I'm gonna add this on to you to say. So you see how like they're trying to push like digital money, digital ID,
Mhm.
because that's the whole thing. People don't realize if
I
they push the digital ID, if people accept the digital ID, unpersonhood will
is
be
going to be real.
will be
Is going to
real
be real.
because
I
you
was
won't be able
actually
to
at a
pay.
school. I don't mean to interrupt. I really don't. But this really bothered me last night. I was at the school board meeting at Redlands, California, Redlands Unified School District, and their 2025 or 2035 curriculum includes digital citizenship,
Oh,
online digital citizenship. It was in the curriculum. I looked at that and I looked at my partner, like my gag partner, Frank. I looked at him like, do you see this shit? Like digital citizenship? They're teaching these kids the ins and outs of digital citizenship, like how to be a good digital citizen.
yeah. Well, that's what it's funny you say corporate communism because this is what's going on in China. It's not stuff that people go, oh, well, you're jumping the shark on this. It's like, no, in China, they have their digital IDs already. You can't you can't travel to like another town or another province in China if your ESG is
Yeah,
not high enough. Or if you say
exactly.
something bad about the government, you can't even
Yep.
leave your house.
Yes. Yes. The FDA, I don't know if you see, I think you did see my video. The US, not FDA, the USDA, they want you to register your garden.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, I heard that they want you to register your car. Like that's how they're going to start because it's the whole thing. It has to be incremental. If you don't do it incrementally, if it's that whole uh, pot boiling the frog
The frog
boiling in the
boiling in the
pot.
pot.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like if you just as long as you let the water boil slowly, and
Yeah.
that's how we lose our
And I
freedoms. We don't lose our freedoms like that.
then George is right. The children are doomed with digital citizenship and CRT, and that's what we need to start fighting. That's why I'm trying to make as much noise as possible about what's going on because these parents are they're oblivious. They have no clue. And like I said earlier, when I told the story and I'll say it out loud at the shop. I'll say the weed shop, because I live in California, and it was all 15 people in there stopped what they were doing to listen to what I was saying, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is not okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is happening, and I'm paying attention. Welcome to the game."
Yeah. No, it's like I try with my family, but they're stuck in that Democrat plantation.
Well, you know what you do. You know what you do. You Alex Stein them. You culture jam them. You have a daughter, you said, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So the next time you talk to your mother or your family
Hmm.
who's on the other side, you say, I don't know your daughter's name, Olivia. You say,
Uh,
you know what? Olivia was exhibiting some body dysmorphia the other day. She thinks she's really overweight. So we're actually going to be scheduling some liposuction for her. We're actually going to consider maybe teaching her how to purge her meals after, because so if you hear her in the bathroom, just really just try not to make a big deal out of it, and tell her good job when she comes out.
I like that. That's
I mean, isn't that what you're doing, right?
yeah. It's a great analogy with the trans movement,
You
with
know,
the
you
gender
can, if you have,
ideology.
exactly, if your child is, and maybe your child is thin naturally. So, Olivia has body dysmorphia. She really feels like she's underweight and she feels like she's withering away. So we're going to be feeding her a few more extra calories to really pack those pounds on her because
Well,
she's really uncomfortable in her body.
it's funny because that's the only issue that they don't agree with. I shouldn't say that.
Right?
That's not true because if I tell them, I go, "Do you believe?" My mother is my sisters are pro-choice, and I go,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, but are you a pro-choice to the point of birth?" And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "No, that's disgusting." And I go, "Well, that's what your party supports." And they're like, "No, they
Right.
don't. You live in New York. That's the law
Yeah,
in New
they do.
York. It's I
That's
think
the
it's in
law in New York.
California too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Didn't
Actually,
they
they're
say
trying to do it to like 20, what is it? 24 days after birth
after
too
birth?
in
Yes,
California. It's
I heard about
terrible.
that. That's
Um, but
disgusting.
but that's what we need to kind of shock them by saying, "Oh my God, aren't you so excited? We're going to be able to abort trans children." And they're going to look at you and be like, "What?" Be like, "Yeah." I mean, don't you know children are trans in the womb? They go from female to male. So, if a boy, if a, it turns out to be a boy, that's a trans child. And let's just abort them because we can't have any trans children in the world.
Oh,
And they'll be like, "What do you mean? No, 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 no." Well, no, but you like abortion, right? Let's abort all the trans children.
George here wants to know, and he goes, "Is Gays Against Groomers a national movement, a
It
nationwide?"
actually, yes, it is a nationwide movement. Gays Against Groomers is a nationwide movement. We're hoping to become an international movement. We have several applications for chapter leads in the Netherlands, in Australia, in
Oh,
Great Britain. I have a couple of trans against groomers in Chile who also want to help me start working to create Gag Latino so that we can break into the Spanish language market because I come from a Latino family and we all had their whispers of tu tío le tocó a tu prima, and that's exactly the type of stuff that we need to bring to light. It's not okay. It's not okay to sexualize children, whether it's in the family, in the school, in the church. It's not okay to separate a child in order to gain their trust, sexualize them in any way, shape, or form.
yes. So George, yes. So to answer your question, yes, I'm
So
actually.
yeah,
We'll talk about this offline, but I'm trying to get some one from the. I'm trying to get someone from the New York chapter of Gays
okay,
Against Groomers. So
yeah,
someone gave me a connection, but we'll talk offline about that. I don't want to
absolutely.
put anything out there without.
No, absolutely. Let's talk offline and we'll get connected because I know I have a couple of New York gags.
Okay. But yes. So, but you other than I know everybody here. Like I had you on mostly about Gays Against Groomers, but you go beyond that because you're based.
Yeah,
When it comes to you're involved, I would say totally in the freedom movement. It's not just gays against groomers. It's
no,
also like I said, I saw your prepper video, which was great when you're telling people build a garden, because the food shortages are coming and people don't realize it.
yeah,
Because
yeah. I mean, and that's even all the way back to the 1950s. To the wars.
the
The
war
idea
gardens.
that the victory gardens. Exactly. You
Yeah.
you want to be connected to the earth. You want to be connected to your food. But yeah, you're right. In addition to that, um, I'm part of a group called the Palmdale Freedom Coalition. I'm actually based just outside of Los Angeles in the city of Palmdale. We are about, I would say, 2,500 members strong. About
Wow.
200, 150 to 200 of us are actively really working, doing something. But this core group of 100 to 200 people, we have moved a mountain. We actually passed a law in my community against the vaccine passports. And as a resident of New York, I'm sure you saw what was going on where you can't come to the restaurant, you can't do this if you don't have a vax card. Da, 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 da.
Oh,
We said absolutely not. This community passed a law and says this community will not allow a business to ask for a vaccine passport. This community will take the business license away from a business that asks for a vaccine passport. This community will not force a business to vaccinate their employees or require testing as a condition of employment. This community will take away a business license if they choose to vaccinate and force test all their employees. And it came up to a head with a local federal government contractor. We are Aerospace Alley. And so we have three federal contractors in my valley who produce airplanes, airplanes, choppers, the Blackbird, the F-117. Those planes came out of our hangars, and they sent out, because they're federal contractors, hey, you need to be vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. Well, one of our coalition members happens to be an employee at one of these three contractors, sends an email, says, hey, this community has a law, this community has an ordinance, this community, here's the code, here it is, figure it out. And when they figured it out 30 days later, they came back and they said, everybody has to be vaccinated except for the community in Palmdale. So that's huge. That's
It
huge.
is.
And we did it with no money, zero money. We didn't charge anything. It was spirit of the people. We created groups to do different functions. So we weren't doing the same work multiple times. We created a newspaper. We have a sign team that goes out and posts signs in the community. So you can be like, hi, bring attention, bring awareness, because I got deleted off of Instagram today. I got deleted off of Facebook today. I got deleted off of TikTok a month ago. So they obviously control the internet, but they don't control the streets. And that's where we actually have to take our fight, is to the streets. We have to go away from the traditional methods of getting our information out there and getting our information out through alternative methods. Thank God Elon Musk bought Twitter so that it can become a better space for people like
Yeah.
independent journalists to get that information out.
And supposedly, I think Friday supposedly is supposed to go
Yeah.
down. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. I'm excited about that. I
All
lost a
those
lot
former
of.
Twitter employees. Go ahead.
No, I was
You
just
said you
saying.
lost a lot of what?
I lost like over 1,000 followers when the purge hit after the J6 riots, and I
Mm,
will never call it an insurrection. I will always call it a riot.
I, I don't want to talk too much about it because I know a lot of
Oh,
inside
okay.
stuff, because
Uh-huh.
I wasn't there, but I've been in this movement since 2013, like, and even before. Put on my card that I was established in 2013, but I was in these secret Facebook groups as early as 2008 discussing politics, policies, gay conservative groups, the log cabins.
Mhm.
I knew about the log cabins in 2008, just, before most people are like, ooh, gay Republicans. Um,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, then Brokeback Mountain comes out, and I'm like, oh, I did that like in my 20s. Like, really? Like, do we really need to make a video about me? Um,
During your rodeo
but
days.
right, exactly. But I was like, okay, whatever. But I've been in this fight, and so I know all the characters. I've been following these characters, like the fact that Elaine Lancaster, one of the most famous drag queens, I would say, in the planet, she was on Real Housewives of Orlando. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot there was a drag queen on that. Yeah, Elaine Lancaster. She's best friends, at least was best friends with Rush Limbaugh. Like, they were besties. They were good friends.
Mhm.
Why would a drag queen be friends with a gay conservative talk show host unless they themselves were conservative? And so I followed that trail and went, ah, you're my friend. I love it. And I've been
Mhm.
following her ever since. So I've had my fingers in all of these little places. And when things happen, I'm one of the first people to see them, or the people come to me and they go, "Oh my God, this is what I saw. This is what I saw. Let me tell you," because I've been involved so
Yeah.
deeply, and I take it, I digest it, and I go, "Okay, how can I present this to the rest of the world?"
We don't have to get into that topic. I don't like to talk about it either because it pissed me off that day. I mean, I was angry about it before, the day of. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Because I'm just there like, you guys are idiots. It made
Right?
things worse. It didn't help. It didn't help nothing.
No.
It made things worse. And that was, but anyways, so your freedom, so your Palmdale, you said Palm city.
Palmdale Freedom Coalition. Yeah.
Okay. So how? So obviously you have to be a local resident to be a member. So, but
Well,
how can they
actually,
support?
the coalition's actually looking to start other coalitions everywhere. That's the goal. We want other people to be inspired by the work that we did so that they can in turn do the same work. Um, if you want to support me through, you know, I guess it would be Cash App is the only thing that I have really left. I don't really put it out there because that's not my goal. My goal is to actually just get the message and keep going and keep working. I know it takes money to do this, but I work and I go, okay, well, if I can work here and someone can fund here, so I don't throw it out there all the time. But if you want to throw anything out there, you can throw Cash App. It's my name, Mario Presents, one word. But more importantly, I tell people donate through Gays Against Groomers, buy yourself a shirt and use my promo code because that tells people that my message came to you from, got to you and you're gonna help the mission. And Gays Against Groomers is really, really trying to launch and do something really, really big. So I'm all about promoting them. And it's great to give me $30, but spend $30, get yourself a cool shirt and save 10%, and I get the credit. None of us can get any of the money right now because all that money has to come out of PayPal, and none of us have a PayPal account because when they kicked off Gays Against Groomers, we all shut off our PayPal accounts. So none of us have PayPal accounts. We have no way of getting any of the money out of there. And we're just raising the money. And it is what it
Have
is.
you
We'll do
guys
stuff with
tried?
it.
Um, do you watch Dan Bongino? Or you've heard of Dan
Yes,
Bongino?
parallel economy. That's the
Parallel
other one.
economy. Yeah.
We're gonna get ready to probably start moving to some of these other parallel economies. Because I mean, this is what we set up, and then they take it away from us, and this is that corporate communism that we're fighting. Gays Against Groomers is extremely effective. That's why they took their Google. They took their Google account.
Yep. That's why I need to follow your suit and have a different email other than Gmail because
Yeah.
I'd be really screwed if they would just crash my Gmail.
Yeah, and the funny thing is they deleted my Facebook, they deleted my Instagram, and I had created an alt account on my Gmail account, and that one was gone too. When I tried to create a new account using my Proton Mail account, it already said this domain is blocked. You can't make an account using this email. So I had to use I have a separate gag email. It's just kind of like a placeholder email through
Yeah.
Gmail.
Uh-huh.
So I've used that one to establish a new Facebook account, but I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just going to let it sit for a second
Uh-huh.
and see what happens with my main account if it comes back. But if it doesn't, then I've already got something just kind of ready to launch.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think that's a good place to end. I want to keep you too long, and I hope we could continue having the conversation as things come along. Because, um, I mean, your school board meetings. Always love to share your videos when you're at these because I've done them before. I've never recorded myself on it, but I've been to school board meetings, so I know how um, frustrating it could be. It could be really frustrating because they'll say something like, "You want to ask them a question? Well, you can't ask questions. Then what the
Right.
hell am I here for? I'm
Right.
I want to know what's going on, and you're not telling me everything."
Well, so as a reminder to you and to everybody watching, the school board is very annoyed with the fact that we are not only speaking to the school board, we're speaking to the people listening. Okay.
Hmm.
And they are very quick to remind us to say, make sure you point your words to the school board and the school board only, but your words are not for them.
No.
Your words are for everybody listening. And
Yep.
so you just make sure your words are true, your words are clear. Um, I recommend um, make writing something down, bullet points, give yourself,
Yeah.
write a speech, get in the habit of writing some stuff down because that's only going to help your train of thought. So
Oh yeah. No. 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 I did. No. I made bullet points. So I can make sure I could touch on every topic that I. Because it was 3 minutes, so I was like, let me get my bullet points here. Okay, this is what I'm going to talk about, and this is what I'm going to talk about. I even had how I was going to end it, so I had
good,
all of that
good.
to go. Yeah, no, you have to have a plan when you're going to talk to those things, especially
It's like a sporting event. You got to practice.
you got to
You
practice.
can't just go out there and be like, I'm gonna be the greatest soccer player ever, and you just go flat and you fall on the plate on your face. I'm like, come on.
Yep, that's why. as I keep doing these videos, I keep having people on. I'm getting better, having conversations, getting better how to lengthen it out or how to shorten it out or how to, end the conversation because it takes practice, but it's
It does
fun.
take practice. Yes. Yes.
But
And
it's,
and
it's a conversation.
every day we learn just a little bit more.
Yeah. And it's like I said, for me, it's, like we said, I don't get paid for this. This is fun to have the conversation with different people of different and different walks of life. It would be nice sometimes to have like a leftist on, but they never want to be on a show
They
with
never,
someone that disagrees with them.
never.
Mm-mm.
So, all
So,
right. All
all
right, my
right.
friend.
So
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
on this, I'm going to sign off, everybody. Thank you for those who came on. If you have any other questions, you could comment, and I'll be glad to answer them. And with that being said, have a good week, everyone.